Good evening. Welcome to Relationships with Vinny Parco. The 4Ds: dating, divorce, dependency, and discussion. We're going to do discussion today. And we got some people talking about dating, especially dating in a gym. Now, some people like to pick up women, and women like to pick up guys in the gym. And I've had some discussions with some of the women in my gym, and they all had they all complained about problems meeting, especially with the wearing a mask in the gym and the social distancing and stuff like that. So I got two nice ladies on the show tonight. We're going to talk no politics, by relationship, and anybody has a idea, a question, please. You know how to do it. You go on Facebook, beep, boop, boop, and we'll answer it, and we'll have fun. Again, everything is very positive. We do a very positive show. And nothing else to say. I'm just talking about good things, dating on a good. But again, sometimes people will say some negative things about dating, and we might hear that tonight. Okay, who's going to be first tonight? Who's going to be the first victim? Courtney.
All right.
Hello, my dear.
How are you?
So you actually told me the last week that you had some problems dating because of this COVID thing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's been really challenging. So, I live in Santa Monica, so I'm in LA, and the whole LA culture, and we're all on apps. That's like a way to meet these days. But with COVID, even more so, because we were really locked down. Like, you couldn't go to restaurants. There really was nowhere to go, so you couldn't meet people. And this posed a real problem because typically on the apps, guys like to do booty calls and, try and get you to just come over without going on an actual date. But now that everything was locked down, they were using that as an excuse, or at least that's really how it felt. Like there was nowhere to go. So I would try and suggest things like we could meet up for coffee and go for a walk on the beach. That's a great first date. Get to know somebody, talk to them, and yeah, right. So, but usually that would get blown off, and then I would get a text, or a message through the app at 10 o'clock at night. Well, you should just come over. So I think it kind of made the whole, or what was already culturally a problem, much worse. And then there's the added problem of everybody wearing a mask, and even just walking out on the street, you can't really interact with people. I can't, I
know it's kind of, but as a guy, guys look at this a little differently. Like, for example, I don't see a girl as a mess, but I see she's got a smoking body. I said, nah, you know what? All right, I'll take it.
I even get it for girls if they're not looking for something really serious. But if you're actually looking for a relationship, you'd like to know what the guy's face looks like. And I depend a lot on reading lips, so it makes it really hard to communicate with people when they have their mask on. So
I by the way, I have a mask, clear plastic. It comes down. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's not like the big one that people have. But it's kind of awkward because you can't you gotta walk around like this, and I don't know. I'd rather put the regular stupid mask on. But hopefully, with enough vaccination.
It's really challenging. Pardon?
Maybe if everybody gets vaccinated, this thing will go down a bit. A lot.
Well, I have my feelings on the vaccine, but that's a different conversation.
The state, city, and federal government are clueless. They have no idea what's going on.
I know.
Biden have absolutely admitted that he doesn't have a plan. Doesn't know. But when he was running for office, he had grandiose plans for the virus and blah blah blah. I guess when you're running for office, you say a lot of things that aren't true.
Right. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Let me ask you something. Mm-hmm. A man asks you to come over for dinner. He's going to cook for you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Are you expected to go to bed with him? Because is that like a given or not a given?
Well, I would not think that it should ever.
Especially if he's a good cook. No, he's a good cook. He's a good cook.
Okay, good. Well, I don't think it should never be a quid pro quo. I mean, I think that that's an evolution in dating.
Okay, let me tell you what happened to me.
So,
I had a woman who was a business associate. So I like to cook, and I don't like cooking for one person. And at the time, I had an apartment right next to my office, so it was like a block away. So I said, "Look, meet me come into the office, come over to my apartment, and I'm going to make. I went to French cooking school, so I want to show off. She
right.
doesn't show up. She calls me a couple of weeks later, and she says, "I said, why didn't you show up? I made it. I had actually fed my doorman. My doorman ate very well." So I said, "Well, why didn't you show up? Why didn't you call me?" Well, if a man invites a woman for dinner, she's got to go to bed with him. I said, "No." I said, "Not for anything."
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but I wouldn't go to bed with you anyway. If you wanted, But I didn't want to say that. I just kind of hinted. I said,
Wow.
"Well, I don't understand that. I never heard of that before." Then I heard it from another person too, and I don't know. So I guess.
Well, I think, certainly it depends on where you're at in the relationship. Like, I would not want a guy to cook for me for the first date. I don't want to go to a guy's house for the first date. I don't know.
Let me write that down.
I don't
Courtney
know.
does not-
Yeah. And that's honestly, especially this day and age, that's a matter of safety. Like, I don't know who he is. Like, I'm not going to just go into some
Yeah,
stranger.
yeah. No, well, it wasn't even a first date. I had known her. I just invited her.
I don't know the circumstance here.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I've had guys suggest that for a first date, and I'm like,
Another girl that I know
Mhm.
was always following me all the time, and I had no interest in her other than a friend. And the same thing, I said to her, why don't you come? You're in my neighborhood. Why don't you come? I like to cook.
Mhm.
Oh, no. Then you expect to go to. So I don't understand. Now both of them were Hispanic. Now I don't know if that's a Spanish thing or
No,
cultural. I don't understand.
It might. I mean, I'm not familiar but it might be a cultural thing. That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think that one ever precludes the other. I think that, that should be.
I just felt this is the place to talk about it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of unusual. I don't know. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, maybe.
Sure, you should let that be known. Maybe just put that out there. Be upfront. Like, hey, I'd love to cook for you. No expectations. I enjoy cooking, and it's something I'd like to share with you. And no expectations.
But the problem also is most of the recipes you have are for 4 people.
Oh.
So you try to cut it in half for 2. It's kind of awkward anyway.
Oh, I see.
So it's kind of like a cooking show instead of a relationship.
I see. This just went like you just totally made excuses.
How do we get into the cooking thing? All right. All right. You're a conservative. Have you gone out with any liberal men?
Oh, I have. I have.
How did that work out?
I have an interesting story about this. Years ago, when my dad was still alive, he was giving me advice on this. He's like, "Courtney," I was talking about a guy who I really liked, and he was like, "Courtney, this isn't." I could tell he was not really paying attention, and I was very offended, that my father wasn't listening to me talk about this guy that I really liked. And he's like, "Well, there's no point. There's nothing serious here." And I said, "Well, how do you know that?" And he said, "Because he's a leftist, and you're not going to take a leftist seriously." And so we had this whole conversation about like, when you're dating, and I said, "Well, what am I supposed to do? Like, grill them on the first date?" And he said to me, "No, Courtney, within talking to someone for the first 5 minutes, where they stand, don't you?" And it was really interesting because at first I thought that was so strange, and my immediate reaction was, "How would I know?" But I realized, no, he's absolutely right. I do know within the first 2 minutes of talking to somebody. You don't necessarily know exactly where they stand, but you have a good sense based on their values. So I have gone on several dates where I, like I said, I spent a lot of time on these apps, which is atrocious. It's not the best way to date at all. But I put it out there. I put it, it's right on my profile. Like, this is where I stand. And I can't tell you how many dates I've gone on where like halfway into the date and the guy tries to convince me that I don't really believe the things that I believe, that, I should really agree with him on things that I obviously don't. And I'm like, I put it out there. Like, if you have an issue with this, then why are we here?
Well, I mean, they try to convince you to be liberal instead of conservative.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess they're diehard liberals. They want to.
If you were going to convince me, it probably wasn't going to happen in the middle of a first date.
That's not a good first date.
No, it's not a good strategy. No, not a good way to win a girl over. I can tell you that.
So you don't go to gyms to meet men. You just go to gym to work out, to look good, to be healthy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something I'm really passionate about. I mean, I was a CrossFit coach. I did aerial acrobatic performances. So, I don't usually train with the,
You do Pilates?
of like meeting.
You do Pilates? Pilates?
I don't do Pilates, no.
Yoga, any of that?
I've done yoga, yeah.
Well, the problem in the gyms now with the COVID is there's no classes anymore. I like spinning. I like to spin.
Okay.
It's 45 minutes. There's no. So you got to use the single bikes, which some of them have a program, but I'm not crazy about it. So, all right, let's talk about Lori, Lulu, baby. Okay, so what do you got to add to this conversation? You said something before.
What did I say about going to the gym to meet men? I don't.
Okay.
I don't. When I work out at the gym, and when my body was perfect, I'd be wearing the biggest flannel shirt I had, the baggiest sweatpants I had, Timberland boots, no makeup, because I was there for my body, not for the socialization.
I couldn't get her on the show because she works tonight. Diana, and she was telling me that she went through a whole recitation about how women, they wear these tight pants, they got the bust, they did that.
You won't believe what I see there.
And I said, about that.
The owner of my gym is about 30 years old, and the women that come, the girls, they're 20-something, half dressed. They're all over him. He has them lined up by ducks. They all do their sit-ups together. And they hug and kiss him. Yeah, I could see some people going to the gym for that. But nah, I go to the gym. I'm in. I do my work.
Yeah,
and I'm
in the gym half hour, 40 minutes. That's it. I don't socialize. I mean, I'm hi, how are you? That's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my unveiling in April or May of all my work.
So my friend, we're going to have Mike on the show, and Mike, I don't know what happened to him. He got divorced, and he just finished the paperwork. He just got finished for the end, and he had a lot of things to say about divorce. Now, as you know, I've been a private investigator for most of my life, and I've handled a lot of divorce cases, and unfortunately, half the population gets divorced. 50% marriages end in divorce. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's really.
I met a guy in a gym that's married 51 years. I said to him, "What is the secret?" He says, "My wife is my best friend." Now, I like that. That was very nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard that other people too that had long-term marriages. My best friend. I guess.
I think a lot of people today, because divorce rates have risen so much and it's become so much more socially acceptable, I think people don't put the work in anymore. They don't recognize that all relationships require work, effort, and that it's not going to just magically be perfect all the time. And now I feel like people, and this is part of the problem with dating too, is people are always looking for, I call it the BBD, it's like the bigger, better deal. And so therefore they're not really appreciating what they have, and they don't want to put work into what they have. So when things are bumpy, or when, it's less fun part of a relationship, they just tune out. And I think it's really sad.
I made a living doing these investigations. But you know what? I'm very proud that I have saved marriages, and I'll tell you how I did it.
Okay. How?
We were hired to do a certain task and catch them cheating, whatever it was. And I was able to tell the client, you're wrong. He or she is not cheating. They're doing something else, something nice, something good, but they're like a secret. Like they're working a part-time job. We had one guy that he didn't tell his wife he had this part-time job, save up money, he was going to buy her a beautiful gift. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I told her, I said, I had to blow the surprise, but I had other than blow the marriage. So I said to her, I said, listen, the guy's working a part-time job. We followed him. He going to this place. He's not fooling around anybody. He's doing this, whatever the job was. I forgot what it was. And I said, you should be grateful. Now here's the one that I really, the woman asked us to follow her husband. He goes to strip clubs. I said, so what? No. I think he's fooling around. So I don't want to say anything bad about, I call them gentlemen's clubs, but there are opportunities for fooling around. Okay, I'll leave it at that. So we followed a guy, and he went in there. He got the dances, the girls lap dance, all that stuff, and they're there for make money. Let's face it. So I reported to her. I said I followed him. I saw him. I said I don't think he did anything wrong. I mean, if you think a lap dance is bad, then he did something wrong. But she goes, no. She goes, I don't know what to do. I said, I have an idea. She goes, what? Why don't you ask him to take you there? What? Yeah, ask him to take you there. Come. And I said, I've seen when my wife was alive, may she rest in peace. We went out with clients, and the client said, let's go to Scores or let's go to whatever club. She goes, yeah, let's go. And everybody had a good time. I mean, nobody fooled around, so to speak, but they lap danced, and the women, the women had more fun than the guys. I have to be honest. So I said to her, why don't you ask him to go there? So a couple of days later, she calls me up and says, oh, I had a problem. What? He didn't want to do it. He didn't want to go and take me. I said, but he can go, but you can't go. Then she called me a week later. She says, you know what? He took me. We had fun. We kidded around with the girls. We bought a few drinks. We had a couple of lap dances. And everything's happened. So sometimes the secretness of something is what screws up a relationship. And sometimes you got to be up front and say, listen, So, I mean, all you women out there, look, your husbands go to strip clubs.
So
You tell them you want to go.
Oh, I've been to them. I think they're hilarious.
Right? Now, Laura, I don't know. Are you married or you're divorced?
I'm divorced. I'm divorced.
Happily divorced?
Oh, yes, 100%.
You were happily married, so you're happily divorced.
I'm not going to say he was a bad guy. He was a great guy, but he just wasn't the guy for me. Yeah. Good guy. He's remarried. He has everything he wants now. Happy little family. So I'm happy for him.
I've gotten a lot of cases where the second wife hires us because the husband is going back with the first wife, the divorced wife. Now that's kind of weird. I mean, you got divorced, but I guess there's something still there. What do you think about that? What would you do in your case, Lori?
Oh, what would if my ex came knocking on my door? First of all, I wanted to have a friendship with him because, we were married.
Yeah.
And I called him, and his wife said, can you please not call my home anymore? Speak with Robert.
I'll work the other way around. Yeah.
So I said, of course, I have to go by what the wife says. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want to cause trouble. But if he came knocking on my door, ringing up my phone, any married man, I'd be like, get lost. Nah, not for me. Bad karma.
We had one woman that wanted to get even with the second wife. Now, here's what happened. The husband was seeing this other woman. He got divorced from my client, and then he got married to the other girl. So I guess the reasoning is once a cheater, always a cheater. Okay. So she contacted him, however, and said, "Oh, why don't you get together?" Da, da, da. When he got together with her, she had a video camera in the apartment and got him on tape and sent it to the second wife. Now, what do you think about that?
Some people just don't stop being vindictive and
Well,
crazy.
well, that was a way of getting even with the second wife. So you took him away from me. Now that caused another ruckus. You're smiling, Courtney. What do you think about
I think people need to move on. Like that, I agree. Like it's so vindictive.
something?
I have a funny story though. So the first acting role that I ever did, I played like the woman who gets hired to, set up the guy to find out whether or not they were cheating. That was like the first acting role I ever played.
Well, that's another way of saving a marriage. If we bring a decoy, and we've done it many times, you have a decoy that comes and meets the guy. Throughout, wherever where he goes. The wife says, "Look, he always goes to this bar or the restaurant every night at 5 o'clock to meet his friends for drinks." So you go, you send an attractive woman there, and she flirts. The next thing you know, they're talking. And now some men will talk to a beautiful woman and flirt with her, but not do anything. That's okay. In my opinion, that's okay. So he did, and guess what? He didn't want to go out. He said, "You're a beautiful woman and everything, but it was nice talking to you. Have a nice day," and walked away. I reported that to the wife. I said, "He's not fooling. If he didn't fool around with this girl, he's not fooling with anybody. This girl was a knockout." And so she said, "Thank you. That was good. That was positive information. That was good."
What kind of marriage is that, though? She doesn't even trust him to go out.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's the negative part of it, but something happened that made her think that. And that happens. Listen.
Well,
like
I'm proud of that guy because I think given the chance, most men will cheat if the opportunity is presented to them.
You're 90% correct. No, 85%.
I'm proud of him. Unless she was just maybe she was too fake looking with big boobs or fake eyelashes and hairspray. And, some men are turned off by all.
Hairspray? I don't use hairspray.
Well, you know what I mean. Like men could be turned off from women.
But, these are some of the things, we talk about dependency. Sometimes people have a dependency on another person, and that causes a problem with stalking. We have a woman going to come on next week. She has a serious stalking problem. Serious. And I want her to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it now, but she has a serious stalking problem. And she's trying to serve this guy with order of protection. Very difficult. You have to serve them personally, and the cops won't do it. The police won't do it. Some do, but most of them don't want to get involved. And she's hired process servers, and this guy's never around. But yet, he'll come by her house 11 o'clock at night and ring the doorbell to harass her. But, you're going to have a process server waiting every night, 11 o'clock to serve, so it's a problem. And if you're being, I don't know, have you ever been stalked? Either one of you?
Oh, yeah.
It's disconcerting. I mean, you just don't know. You say, "Oh, I'm going to go out tonight. This guy going to be waiting for me. Am I going to get a text from him? Am I going to go, And then some of them, they actually hack into your computer, into your phone. I mean,
well, that's with social media. Like one time I posted where I was and my stalker showed up.
And what did you do?
My head almost spun off my neck. Like, what are you doing here? And I don't do that. And I don't do it anymore. I don't say where I am, who I'm with, nothing. I might post the next day, "Oh, I had a great time with my friends, blah, blah, blah." But I don't post anymore where I am. You get stalked on social media. I mean, how many people, no friends in common, inboxing me, trying to friend request me?
Happens.
One of the things I wanted to talk about.
Vinny, I just want to say that my camera you're frozen. I'm not seeing you guys move.
Oh,
Who's frozen?
You are?
I'm frozen.
Courtney is?
not frozen for me. Nobody's frozen for me.
I see you.
I
You
see
see
you,
me?
but yeah, like I'm waving and I can't see. Everything's
All right.
my screen is frozen.
All right. So
Oh, that's
have you
okay.
met anybody online? Have you dated anybody online?
Not in years. And
How about Courtney?
oh, I'm sorry.
No, Courtney, did you date anybody online?
Yeah, I mean,
And
I've been definitely on the apps. It's not my preferred way of meeting, but right now I feel like there is no other way. It's, everything's shut down.
did they wear a mask while they gave the picture to you? No.
I actually messaged, so somebody messaged me on Nap and I wrote to him and I was like, you had me until the mask. That was a turn off. Yeah. So it's really hard. I think this is a really hard time. I think in general, people are feeling really isolated, really.
For a short while, I did a little online stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like it at all. Because first of all, everybody lies. They're not 45, they're 55.
Yeah.
The picture they have in there is 10 years old. They don't look like that anymore.
Yeah.
And then where do you meet? You meet in a coffee shop. You meet at Starbucks, you meet at the coffee shop, the first date. It's awkward. I don't know. I'm sure there are people that have met online and had beautiful relations, got married.
Happens. It does. I know quite a few people who have met online.
Now I noticed that if you're on Facebook, you have a tendency, or I have a tendency to get these dating to just contact me. You want to be on Elite Singles, you want to be on Match.com, eHarmony, all that stuff. The same bullshit, all of them. I mean, some of them are better than others. I have to admit that, but I don't want to be bothered. And you get emails from these people, and you got to respond. Now, I live in Westchester County. What am I going to do with a woman that that she lives in Wyoming, or a woman that lives in
interesting.
South Jersey? What am I going to do? I want to drive to see them.
Well, I've actually been thinking a lot about this because with the internet, you do connect with people from all over, right? And sometimes you form very strong connections, and in old days, people would pen pal and they would meet and get married. That actually happened. And I think it's not the distance that has been lost. I think in some ways people are so much more complacent and convenience oriented. So the irony is that this technology that should be connecting us and making the world smaller, in a lot of ways, actually disconnects us that much more. And nobody would even think of meeting somebody who wasn't right in their backyard, which doesn't really make any sense at all.
I don't know. I'm sure there have been, for example, we did a TV show with an actor. I won't mention his name, and a very good-looking guy, older, white hair and all. He wound up with a very beautiful woman, his age, but well preserved. And I said, "How'd you meet her?" Online. He met her on, a silver single, one of those, But he's a good-looking guy, he's in good shape, and she was a good-looking woman in good shape. So age really didn't make a difference, and they got married.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens, and it happens even when there's distance involved. People build.
I was at my friend's restaurant, and I met a couple, a very nice couple, and so somehow, how did you meet? You always conversation,
Mm-hmm.
And they said we met on widow website. Widows and widowers. So I said, I'm a widower. Oh, you got it. I said, no, I don't want to be bothered, And so I got on it. All right, I wouldn't be on it. I got on it. My God. Every woman that they sent me was old for their age. You know what I'm saying? Old. And they weren't well preserved. And I said, I don't want to be bothered. I just can't be bothered with this, you know. And then again, who is in upstate New York, 100 miles away? I don't want to be bothered, you know. So, you know, that's it.
No,
So,
I think a lot of people feel that way. I just thought it was an interesting observation because
I feel that if I'm going to meet somebody, and there's going to be chemistry. Matter of fact, my daughter's company, Parco, she took over my company, of course. She still owes me $2 million. No, I'm just kidding. Danielle, if you're watching, I want that money tomorrow. But one of the things I want to talk about, which she brought up, is doing backgrounds on these people you meet. You meet a guy online, he tells a big story, and a lot of these women, they fall for the line. You know, some of these guys are legitimate, but they talk about this guy that's telling them, oh, you know, I'm this and that. And then I said, my daughter says, the woman says, all right, I'm going to pay a couple $100. Give me a background on the guy. Find out that the guy is not living where he says he lives. He's not who he is. His name might be correct, but he's not. You know, they lie. The guy has a decent job, but he makes it sound like he's a doctor, or he's much more affluent than he really is, and they're all doing this to impress women. I mean, this is what they do. They impress women. And sometimes if a woman is a nice person, she doesn't care about all that other crap. Just listen, the guy's a good guy. He's nice. I'm nice. Let's get together. But and then women, these guys, they know how to get money from women. We had one guy that was said, "Oh, I'm in the army. I'm in Afghanistan, wherever he was, and they don't pay me a lot of money. Well, army people don't get paid a lot of money." And he says, I could use some money. I want to get an apartment, and when I can move back to New York, all that other stuff. And this woman's giving him $1,200, $1,000. Found out he did this to 5 or 6 other women. What are you going to do?
Terrible.
So, sometimes people. So we have. My daughter was telling me they have clients that they go on these. I won't mention names, but they go on these $49.95 background checks, or something, $99. They're garbage. They're garbage. They're garbage. If you are going to check somebody out, you got to do it correctly. But don't bother at all. Don't bother at all. I mean, it's just it's amazing how people get duped.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in all arenas. A lot of people pulling scams.
Now, I know that you're on Facebook. You're on Facebook, right? We're both on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Okay. Do you know that a good amount of people on Facebook are full of shit? You know that. Yep. So you got to be careful. Even just because he's on Facebook, so that means he's okay or she's okay. No. You got, and I'll tell you right now, and I won't mention names, but I've seen people on Facebook and on these dating sites that are porno stars. They don't, but they use their real name. They say, "Oh, my name is Maria Montez," and I'm, and then it's, wait a minute, I saw her on a porno site. She's so and so. She's not who she is. Oh, maybe, she they have like a stripper has a stripper name. Well, porno stars have their porno names. And I said, but why are they on? Now I want to ask you that. Why are they on regular social media sites? They want to meet normal people. Is that it? Somebody said they want to build up their fan base.
Wow. Interesting.
I mean, the world is so transparent today. They're crazy to lie to begin with.
Yeah.
Because it always comes out in the open. You can't hide the fact that you are a stripper or a porn star from a significant other.
36 triple Ds, and you're wearing a low cut, But you know what? Nowadays, even if you're a stripper or a porno star, who cares? I mean,
a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do.
I mean, the guy's
But
like,
why-
hey, you know what, you're gonna bring the girl, you're gonna bring a woman, you're gonna meet her, you're gonna meet your mom.
The
You're gonna
problem,
meet your
though,
mom.
the problem is the misrepresentation. So if someone has a past, then they have a past, or if that is what they do currently, then why not own that and put that right out front?
Yeah.
That's what I have an issue with. Why would you go on social media?
There's one, again, I won't mention it, there's one on Facebook.
Yeah, why would you go on social media and present yourself?
She actually says, I was an adult star, I did this, that, and I made a lot of money. She admits it. She says, and you know what? I have a lot of respect for her because, well, one of the reasons is she's always wearing a low cut thing. I like that too. But that's besides the point. No, but she's telling like it is. She's like, you know. But I could see that she has problem with relationships because the guy want to go out with her because she's a porno star, or go out with her because she's a beautiful woman, or go out with her because she's a beautiful and smart woman. That could be a problem. Me, I don't know how I would handle that. But going back to our show here, you were divorced. Now, did you got to go through a whole trial and all that? Was it amicable when you got divorced?
Yeah.
Lori,
was it amicable?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Are you
Oh,
talking?
I'm
to me? I'm talking to
sorry.
you.
Was it amicable? Well, we tried to keep it amicable, but we both discussed that if our attorney.
Get lawyers involved.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, were lawyers involved?
Yes, and they're the ones that made us argue. We didn't have a problem with each other till they got involved.
Well, when I get clients that are going through divorce and they don't have lawyers yet, when they ask me to get a lawyer, and I work with some of the biggest divorce lawyers in New York, I said, why don't you try arbitration or not arbitration? What's the other?
Mediation.
Mediation. And some of them do it, and it works out for them. I said, first of all, it's cheaper. Number one. Number two, it's less acrimonious. You don't want lawyers. There are lawyers. I've worked with lawyers that are very nice. That they talk to the other lawyers. They say, look, let's settle this. Let's make this. But a lawyer has to earn his salary, his fee. So sometimes they purposely get in an argument.
What the attorneys say to each other is like, "Hey, she's got 50,000 more. Yeah, he's got 100 grand. Come on, let's bring him to court. A couple more times. Let's get them in for a meeting. Let's see if we could split that truck in half. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Any little thing."
And I warned clients. I said, we used to do work for the what they call the family. I don't know, it was some group up in Westchester, and most of the people there were women, and they had problems. Now, here's the problem they have. They have a fight with their husband. They're in their 40s or 50s. They've been married 15, 20 years. They have a little nest egg. The husband does something, whatever, cheating, whatever he does. The wife says, I'm going to sue you for divorce. So she goes to a lawyer. And the lawyer said, well, I get a retainer of $25,000. Okay, no problem. About 2 months later, the retainer's gone. I need another retainer. What do you mean? Well, I had to do a motion. I had to do this and that. Oh, my God. So now the woman borrows money from her family. Or she wipes out her savings. Now, the husband's got deep pockets because he's an earner. He's an accountant or a lawyer, whatever he is, or a doctor. And all of a sudden, she realizes, I'm in a hole. I'm in a pit, a money pit. I have to give this lawyer another $25,000, $50,000. And we're not even in court yet. Then you have forensic examiners. You have sometimes they have to hire investigators too. So before you know it, she's broke.
Yeah.
And guess what? She takes whatever he gives her. At that point, the lawyer said, look, I can't represent you anymore. I don't have any more money. Let's see if I can make a settlement. And then she gets screwed. So I tell these people, before you decide to get a divorce, make sure you have the funds to fund a divorce action. Make sure you have money. Make sure you can, and I've seen people spend more money on lawyers than they would have gotten from the husband if they settled the case. So let's say the husband's worth $500,000. So technically, a wife should get 50%. Let's just argue. So after they go through the law thing, the lawyers, they already spent $200,000 with the lawyers. What's left to split? And sometimes it's about revenge. Sometimes I've had a couple of times, I had people say to me, I don't care. I'll spend my last penny just to get even with him, to hurt him. And then in the end, they hurt themselves.
And worse, the children, if there's children involved.
Children, yeah. There's children involved. That's another problem.
For sure.
It's just a bad scene. It's not pleasant. No matter how much you cared for the person or how much you want the divorce, or it's really a terrible thing to go through.
We had a woman, she told her husband, now this is a sad story. The husband's a physician, makes a lot of money, very wealthy. He's fooling around. He fell in love with one of his patients, which is against the ethics of whatever, but that's okay. So he tells her, they had sort of an open marriage, a little bit of an open marriage type, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And he said, I want a divorce because I'm in love with this other woman. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to split my assets with you. Between my practice, my boat, my house, my money, I'm worth $3.8 million. I'll give you $1.9 million. You know what she tells him? No, I'm going to drag you through the mud. We'll go. At the end, I had to get him a lawyer, very expensive lawyer. She got an expensive lawyer. At the end, instead of $1.9 million, you know what she got? $300,000. All that money went to all depositions, all kinds of stuff, Then, you're not going to believe this. He hired me because he was cheating on the second wife that he was cheating with the first wife. And he was cheating with a woman who, obviously a very attractive woman, who was actually stalking him. But he caused it upon himself. He almost lost his medical license because she was a patient too.
Wow.
But luckily, I got her on tape admitting that it was consensual, blah, blah, blah. I saved his license. But I don't know if I saved his marriage because I never heard from him again after that. But he did the same thing to the second wife that he did to the first wife. So he's a serial cheater.
Yeah, he didn't learn from his mistakes.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, but it was good for business, I got to tell you.
You benefited from his mistakes.
Yeah. I give him a Christmas card every year. You get some people like that. I had another guy divorced his wife, going out with another woman, had us investigate the woman because he didn't trust her. Now, how can you trust somebody when you can't trust yourself?
Yeah, you can't.
So he's a cheater. He thinks, I'm a cheater. Everybody's a cheater.
Right. Projection.
It's crazy. So next week, the week after, I'm going to have a transgender on the show, talking about relationships, how they get along or not get along. And I don't have too many gay friends, but I invited one or two on the show. And I want to get different perspectives. So any gay people out there, you want to be on the show, just message me. If you're a transgender, as long as you're not the human rights, the one on the cabinet, the one that's, oh my God. Oh, what a.
The one that looks like Ben Franklin?
Yeah, she looks like Ben Franklin with a skirt. Yeah. Hey, listen, she could be the most competent person at her job, but she's lending herself for criticism. That's all I could say. by being in front, being in the administration like that. I mean, it's just crazy. Sometimes I wonder if people are hired for those positions for the like in your face type of thing. Like, I'm going to put them right to show you that I'm so liberal that I'm going to have this person on there. I don't know.
Oh, definitely. It's not about qualifications anymore.
Biden did say he wants.
I mean, I would assume that woman has. She's got.
He said he wants equity.
He had qualifications before he became a she, or whatever. Oh, I wanted to discuss. We got a few minutes left. One of the things I want to discuss with both of you, and I'm glad I brought it up. What do you think of his transgender, a man who claims he's a woman, running track and sports against women? It's not fair.
No,
I saw one girl. I thought she was ready to cry. She trained. She was like a freshman or sophomore I think she was a senior in high school. This girl was unbelievable. She won every award, won every race, except the last one, which you get a scholarship. She ran against transgender. I would call it transgender. This transgender ran rings around her.
of course.
Still a man's muscularity, even though he claims he's a woman.
Mm.
Now, our esteemed president has just said that it's okay for a guy to go into a woman's bathroom because he claims he's a. Now, I remember a few years ago they had that, and some women complained that these, you get a guy that claims he's a woman, but he's there to harass a woman. He's there to sexually abuse or caress or whatever he's got to do. And I see that's going to be a problem again.
It is.
I think it was put to rest with Trump, and now it's now Biden said, "Oh yeah, you can." I see problems with that. I really do. Here's my suggestion. I want some people on Facebook that could edit whatever they want to do. Why don't they have a separate category in track and field for transgenders? Let the transgenders race against each other.
Yeah.
Not against women. Because women they cannot compete.
So the problem is they don't want to acknowledge biology. They want to make everything a social construct. It's not a social construct. Somebody who is biologically a man has different biological advantages for running a race than
muscularity is the number one.
It's not just muscularity though. I mean, it's hormones, it's neurochemistry. There's a lot of things that make a man biologically very different that will be an advantage in running a race.
Now, a few years ago, there was a transgender. I like UFC, Ultimate Fight. I like that type of thing. So this guy said he was a woman, whatever, and he fought against women. Of course, he won, except the last time he fought a really good, the 135-pound class. The girl knocked him out. But you don't hear from him anymore. But it's not fair. It's not fair.
It's destroying, eviscerating women's sports.
No, it's not fair. And I think, I hate to sound like a cop or a detective, but I think some of these guys, they're doing that just to win money on these competitive meets.
Yeah, it's cheating. It's absolutely
cheating. Yeah, it's cheating. Not it's cheating the system, not your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah?
Cheating the system. Absolutely. It's not a fair playing ground.
Speaking of cheating, we've had gay people cheating on gay people. They're as far as relationships, gays are no different than heterosexuals as far as their relationship within each other. They cheat on each other. They stay together for I don't want to mention names again, but there's some rock star that's been with his partner 20 some odd years. So there's something there. Okay. I just don't like them to throw it down my throat. I have friends that are gay, two, maybe one. No, I have one or two friends. I actually have somebody in my family, an in-law. Matter of fact, I'm going to have her on the show because she's cool. She's a lesbian, married another woman, they have a kid through, in vitro, whatever that in vitro type thing. I got mixed feelings about that. But in any event, she's very open about it. To talk, and I like. You want to talk about how you relate to how you meet. Do you go to lesbian bars? Do you meet women? Do they know? Okay, she's. I mean, women have a little more touchy feely than men, so it's easy, I think, for women to. And correct me if I'm wrong, to get kind of intimate with each other. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at me, Lulu. You're looking at me like, wow.
I'm trying to picture it.
Well, I mean, have you ever been friendly with a woman and then she started touchy feely and you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, back in high school.
All right. Well, how about you, Courtney?
No, but I think what you were actually addressing was just that women tend to be more like physically affectionate with each other.
Yeah.
Like, just that's a natural kind of tendency of women. And so, yeah, I think that's what you were addressing, is just that's kind of like men don't typically go around like hugging each other, whereas women do,
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We had a situation where I had to send an undercover girl working in a bar as a bartender in a lesbian bar, but this lesbian bar was Dyke City. I mean, every woman there, and I had to go in there. This is funny. I had to go in there to get paid. The owner was a dear friend of mine, a lesbian, and we loved each other. I mean, we loved, affectionately loved each other, not physically. And I walk in there. She says, "Meet me at the whatever. I don't know if it's there anymore. Julie, I think it was called Julie's. Meet me at Julie's." I go there. I thought I was going to get killed. These women were looking at me like, "What are you doing here? We're going to kick your ass." And I tell you, a couple of them probably could have kicked my ass until she walked in and she hugged me. "Vinny, how are you?" All of a sudden, all the tension went away. Everybody like, "Oh, okay. He's okay. He's with us," that kind of stuff. But it's an interesting relationship. They really, and same thing with gay men. Gay men. I think gay men, from my experience, I don't have that much experience with them, but I'm talking about my overall experience. I want to be very clear about that. They seem to be more. I don't know. I want to use the proper words. I don't want to get people. Oh, you said this. They seem to be more feminine than the lesbians. I think that's fair. What do you think? Obviously, you have not had any relationships or interactions with lesbians. I could tell. Okay, how about you? Lulu?
Yes.
You did.
It's funny what you were just saying. I was at a party last week, and there were a lot of gay and lesbians because my girlfriend's in an industry where, a lot of people came from the theater and whatnot. And there was this one couple there that a married man with children came with a gay man because they're having an affair together. But he doesn't want to tell his wife.
Okay.
She has no idea.
I don't know if any of you remember a restaurant which was a big meeting place called Brunelli's, 74th Street and York Avenue. It was a hot spot. I mean,
yeah.
Wednesday nights was the hot. The China Club was a Monday night. Was the celebrity night. It was one of the nights that you go there. Blah blah blah. Wednesday was Brunelli's. Now Brunelli's was an interesting. The food there was okay. Food was mediocre, but it wasn't. You didn't go there for the food. The ambiance. You had gangsters, wannabe gangsters. You had models, wannabe models. Actresses, wannabe actresses. And at midnight, you had a table for transgenders. Now, listen to this. Russ Brunelli I loved them to death. He always had a little jazz quartet there. Three Japanese guys. I don't think they spoke English, but they played good jazz. And then he would have different guest artists come in. And at midnight, he had these transgenders coming out. There was about 6 of them. 2 of them were attractive. I mean, 2 of them looked good. 2 of them looked, after a couple drinks, they looked good, okay? Then you had 2 that would look like a train hit them, okay? But here's the story here. They went out with straight men. We were, we're talking, we're friendly with them. Hey, how you doing? And they said most of the guys that went out with were straight married men. So, to them, it's a new adventure.
It's more popular than you believe.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think so.
Very strange.
That's not my cup of tea. Okay. Even though some of them look pretty good.
I'm all into sexual freedom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, one tried to pick me up. I know I told this story once before. They tried to pick me up because I've been flirting with you for over a year. How should I get $1,000 a night as an escort? I'll do you for free. And I looked at her and I said, I'm tongue tied. I said, well, I have a rule. What's your rule? I don't go out with any girl that has a bigger dick than me. She goes, I got 9.5 inches. Oh, I rest my case. I'm out of here. I said, look, I got issues with this. And I walked away. I said, I can't deal with this. But some guys, it's okay. It's they but they complain. They still think they're straight. Now, one of the things I want to talk about, well, we have a few more minutes, is some like black men. Some of them, they're straight, but they do fool around with gay guys, and they call it on the down low. And for them, it's okay. It's on the down low. And they don't want anybody to know about it, but they do it. And you know what? That's their business. I don't care. But I'm just bringing that out, that it's another relationship. We're talking about different relationships with different people.
Unfortunately, I'm not versed in that scene, so it's hard for me to even contribute to the conversation.
You girls are on the show. You gotta be ready. Tomorrow, you're gonna get hit on by Facebook people. They're gonna friend you and they say, I want to meet you. I saw what you look like on Vinny Parco's podcast. I want to meet you.
I'm gonna say Vinny has to do a background check on you first.
Yeah.
My daughter will do it. She'll do it. She'll find out the dirt. Find out if they're good people or bad people. Yeah. The guy in the picture looks like Anthony.
Kind of.
I don't know.
Where is Anthony?
Yeah. No, Anthony's income. He doesn't like to be on. He's not. He's
okay.
He's a good guy. Knows his stuff.
I think the one thing that is just really missing these days is just this like honesty, communication, transparency, in any relationship.
Why don't we make up T-shirts with all honest things about, like I'm heterosexual, I'm loyal, I'm this, I'm that, and that. So you don't have to guess. The only thing it would make it boring because I know everything about this guy already. I don't want to.
I think the dating sites and such has ruined dating.
Then the shirt gets longer with more things.
What were you going to say? You think
coming to the witching hour? It's another minute. I want to thank you guys. Nick Matanda, the Balloon-O-Matic. This guy can make what he does with balloons is unbelievable. I met him at my nephew's first birthday party. My sister went crazy, dances and everything. He makes things out of balloons you wouldn't believe. He just retired from the bus company. He was a trainer. He trained people on buses, and now he lectures on balloons. He gives lectures in school. Nick, I want you on the show. And he's married. He's happily married, but he cheats with his balloons. I don't know. I'm only kidding. He's got a girl balloon. The blow-up dolls. He makes one out of balloons. No.
That one's okay then.
But I'm having fun. It's 8:00. We gotta go. But Thank you very much for coming. I think you guys were good. You're intelligent. You made sense. You listened to my craziness. And so everybody, good night. As we say in Arthur Avenue in Little Italy in the Bronx, sempre noi, always with us. Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Vinny.
You
Nice
like my
meeting you,
background?
Courtney.
My house? Like the house there? You see the house in there? Can you see the background?